Ever tried to shut something down only to make it blow up even bigger? That's a Streisand effect. When trying to hide, censor, or suppress something only draws more attention to it. It's ironic, it's frustrating, and it's all over the internet. The more you try to bury something online, the louder it screams. Today, we're going to explore where the term came from, why it keeps happening, some wild real life cases, and how it plays out in the digital age.
The Streisand Effect is a social phenomenon where attempts to hide or suppress information backfire and actually make that information more publicized. Named after Barbara Streisand, who in 2003 sued a photographer for posing an aerial photo of her Malibu home as part of a coastal erosion study. Before the lawsuit, almost no one had seen the image. After the lawsuit, millions viewed it.
So, you think is this a product of the internet or just human curiosity?
I honestly, I would have to say, I think it's both. I think the internet's so big today. Whenever people want to post something, and then there's news that it's trying to be blocked, or there's something that happens, like everybody wants to see it, right? It's just human curiosity. Most humans are cats.
Can I go kind of in another direction where you will find people on eBay or even retailers that will sell you a mystery box or a mystery bag, right?
True.
Why the fuck would you buy it?
Sometimes there is a lot of value inside those, but usually it's only to a very select people. I can't say that, like, Amazon mystery boxes are a big thing.
Do you feel like this is part of that in a way or no? Am I off base a little bit?
I
I guess it's not
no.
someone trying to shut it down, so to speak, trying to hide something so your curiosity.
Right, they don't try to shut it down. I think some of those people are trying to bring it to light.
Yeah.
They're like, "Hey, here's a mystery box, Mister Streamer, who's
Yeah.
gonna make this go
They're
viral."
trying to work on your
Right,
curiosity.
right. Oh, by the way, we sent you like $1,500 worth of shit,
Yeah.
even though you only paid 60.
So yeah, I might be off base because there's no suppressing the information except for what's in the fucking box.
Right. So
So
I
would you say that's suppressing?
I would think you're on the antithesis
Okay.
of what this is.
Okay.
That there there are people out there that don't want certain things to come to light. Like, mainly it's like government shit, right? So what just to make an analogy, what we've noticed here lately is Republicans say that anytime Democrats get way out over their skis on a certain subject, we know we're over the target, so to speak.
How about when, let's say, an OnlyFans model or a streamer or a singer actually has a significant other, but they need to suppress that for monetary gain?
Right, right.
That happens all the time. Like with boy bands, they don't want to know if they have girlfriends and stuff because it might help, it might hurt their retail. It might hurt their popularity.
Right, right. You're going to turn off a lot of females if they know that you're taken, so to
That's
speak.
the Lance Bass effect, right? You
Right,
you find out you're like, "Oh, whoa."
right, right. Yeah,
Is
so
would
they'll
you think that's Streisand effect or no? Am I off?
yeah, yeah, to an extent. Yeah,
Yeah.
if you started out in the limelight as single, and then all of a sudden, through all the bullshit you've gone through, and the spotlight's on you, and then somebody comes out of the woodwork that, hey, you know what, I really like this person. You don't want them to be in the limelight. There's a lot of reasons why you would do the Streisand effect.
All right, so infamous and modern examples of the Streisand effect. Beyonce's 2013 Super Bowl photos. After unflattering shots went viral, Her PR team tried to get them taken down, and the result ended up being meme gold. And sometimes memes can lead to just
Right. I vaguely remember this.
interesting.
Like she she was already super popular at that point, but it was like kind of a pop off. Like she went viral for a time, didn't she?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, she always uh, obviously those kind of stars always they're always trying to. The Sony hack and the interview. Sony tried to suppress the film about North Korea. Hackers leaked it and it became a symbol of free speech. Okay, so let's pivot from that. North Korea in general, they're always trying to suppress and not have a whole lot of information about them, right? I think there's some intrigue about North Korea. There's always people trying to sneak, video footage of it, stuff
Right,
like that.
right. Yeah, if you travel to the Hermit Kingdom, they will allow you to film, but under close supervision. Most of what we know about North Korea comes from the people that escape from North Korea.
Very true. UK's Ryan Giggs gag order. British footballer tried to suppress an affair. Rumor via a court order. Twitter exploded with speculation and named him anyway. Well, that's kind of a weird one. I guess if you said, "Hey, I didn't cheat," and then you got outed.
I mean, it just depends. There are some people that thrive on the negative information. Sometimes it doesn't matter. Like you could be so popular. Footballer, right?
Yeah.
So he plays soccer. There's a certain segment of fans that's never going to leave him no matter what he does. I would gauge that there was a probably a calculated thought that went into him saying, "Oh yeah, well yeah, that was me." Sorry about it.
TikTok and government bans. Attempts to ban or limit apps like TikTok often spark curiosity and increase downloads. I would say so. I've still never to this day been on TikTok.
I haven't either, but yeah, I would say that there is a large Streisand effect of that.
Yeah, because no one ever wants to get rid of it, right? They're like,
Well, there's a couple of thoughts behind it. Number one, you have Trump and his team that are talking about, oh, this is detrimental to the national security of the United States, right? So all of a sudden, as soon as you say that, it's going to drive people to it,
yeah, oh my God, why? Yeah.
right? Uh, After that, the other thought is once people start researching it, you find that the algorithm behind TikTok is better than any other social media on the planet.
Mods deleting threads often trigger even more threads about the deleted thread. And that's about, they were talking about Reddit. But I would agree, like, if you get on Twitter, X, Reddit, and they go, oh my God, this thread was deleted. Listen, I'm a victim of it too. I go, oh my God, what was so bad? It was
What
deleted.
was
Oh my,
said?
yeah, that picture was deleted. Oh my God, you're going what? And then you got to go to other sources or whatever. I would agree that that's a good thing to say too.
Yeah. Yeah. You want to see the train wreck.
Does the internet punish censorship attempts? I don't.
No.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Yeah. I think censorship is largely a government entity, and there are certain things the government doesn't want you to see.
So when is censorship justified and when does it backfire?
Ooh. Uh
I mean, justified. I mean, that's crazy. That depends on your moral compass. That depends on your amendment rights, right? Is it ever justified? I don't know. To me,
I honestly like there's certain classified information that put in certain hands would be bad. So I understand why the government does it.
and moral wise to like younger viewers and stuff like that.
True, true. But I think there's a lot of things that they like to keep classified because it's detrimental to certain people's egos or certain people's personas, especially in government. Like a perfect example is what we went through in 2020. So Moderna had a whole lot of information of how bad the COVID shots were, and they suppressed it. And the government was all about it because they had huge contracts with Moderna to give people mass vaccinations, right? So anybody that talked about the things that they were experiencing, if there was websites that highlighted the effects of the vaccine, like the bad side effects, then you would get censored. And there was all kinds of people involved in this, but also the the industry as a whole, not just Moderna, but Johnson and Johnson and whoever else made the mRNA vaccine. Uh, there was a whole cabal that was involved in censoring people that would talk about the wild things that go on after you got this vaccine. Like there was a censorship complex, and it was government involved.
And you don't know how true that is or not. I mean, unless you're that person.
Oh, I well, there's all kinds of reports out on it. I mean, names are being named. There's memos. There's all kinds of documentation about how the U.S. government was involved in it. Like it's a very real thing.
What's the line between privacy and the public's right to know? That is a loaded question.
That's very loaded. Some things are meant to be personal. That it doesn't do the public any service to know, rather than just creating headlines. So where do you draw the line? I mean, obviously, whenever it's personal, it's behind closed doors. Man, people don't need to know this. If it's public corruption, if it's a public official, there are times where I feel like public officials don't deserve any privacy at all whatsoever. Now, obviously, I don't want to watch them having personal relationships with a spouse or anything like that. But there's conversations that are had in confidence that affect public policy.
So, do people have the right to suppress information about themselves?
Well, I once again, I honestly feel like it's kind of a loaded question. But yeah, there are certain individuals that yes, they do require privacy, right?
So, you're talking about status.
Yes. Yes, status has a lot to do with it, right? So whenever it comes to someone like you, if you have a health issue, is it okay for me to post that on the internet?
I mean, you mean against my free will?
Yeah.
I mean, I would say no. I mean that, but that would be.
I I think you would be exactly right. Now, whenever it comes to someone like a CEO,
But that's not what us as a society has said is the legality thing,
well,
because you could, and I
obviously
can't do nothing about it.
you can find a judge that will say one thing and you'll find a judge that will say another,
Sure.
right? So legality gets turned on its head.
Okay. So what you're saying is if you're important enough, we should know your personal life.
I think so, because if you have a CEO in a company that you're invested in that's not competent to make important decisions, that affects your monetary status, does it not? You would want to know as an investor.
Just everything about them.
Well, not everything, but if they have a health condition that may violate certain HIPAA laws, I think that
So it's like Jimmy Buffett,
Jimmy, okay,
Warren Buffett. Holy
Wa-
shit.
Warren Buffett. Okay.
Warren Buffett. Let's not go the singer.
Okay.
Warren Buffett. Much more important. Much
Right.
more alive.
True.
No, I mean, honestly, a lot of people follow what he does,
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if
So, I
you're
mean, if he had, Colon cancer.
Right. Dementia.
He needs to tell the public.
I would suggest that it's either he reveals his status or he steps down immediately if it becomes known that it could compromise his decision making ability,
Okay, I mean that's interesting.
right? And this is why I always refer back to the president of the United States. We just had Joe Biden that was a ghost for several months at a time, and then he'd just pop up.
And then what does he have? He has prostate or what? What is it?
Prostate cancer, yeah.
Okay,
Advanced prostate cancer.
advanced, and that's probably even a thing.
Well, it takes a long time for prostate cancer to become advanced. I forget the exact clinical term for it,
Yeah,
but it's moved into his bones
but
and other organs.
it wasn't going to hurt his. It probably would have hurt his campaign, or even maybe Kamala's campaign, if they came out with that at an earlier time, right?
Right.
I mean, that's what you're getting at.
Well, because in politics, it's when did you know? How did you know? When did you know? Who knew? When, what, where, how? There's a lot of questions that get asked because you're talking about somebody that's in charge of the free world.
Yeah. Hey, my president has stage 4 cancer. He's probably not going to be here for long. Who's his vice president? Blah, 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 blah.
Right. Yeah, there's a lot of things that come into play at that point. So I think that's why it's extremely important for certain people to be very forthcoming about certain issues going on with them because it can affect a lot of different things.
Okay. So how about reactance theory? Psychologically, when people feel their freedom to access info is being limited, they want it even more. I agree with that.
Well, because it feels like something's being hid, right? What's being hidden from me? You don't want me to have access to it. Why? If it's classified info that you don't want to have it get into the hands of the enemy of the United States, that's understandable. But if it's just something that you want to keep strictly for you because it gives you a strategical advantage over the economy, man, you know what? There's a lot of smart people out there that can take what you've done and make it
and improve on
awesome. Well, not only improve on it, but maybe take it to other industries.
Yeah.
And make it good for those industries.
Yeah. So like forbidden fruit, irresistible. What are they trying to hide? That's what you're getting at. I got to know that.
Some of it.
I don't know it. I got to know.
It's once again, I said earlier in the podcast that people are like cats, are just curious. A lot of the normal general public are very, very curious. But you have people like Elon Musk that he gets a sniff of something and he gets on it. He could take it and turn it to the next best thing. You never know. This is why hiding certain information from the mass of people is not always great.
Memetic spread. The online communities love fighting back against censorship. It becomes a digital protest. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a pile-on effect. It just depends. It just depends on kind of what's going on at the time, right?
Right. That's true. A lot of people just want to voice their opinion, and they don't want to have somebody telling them, "No, you can't say this." Or
are you a contrarian? I would say that's contrarian.
I would say I'm a pretty big contrarian.
Yeah. Hey, you can't do this, and you're going, well.
Yeah, watch me.
Yeah. Okay. Media amplification. Attempts to block or delete content often become news stories in their own right. I can't really think of anything because, I mean, I think media nowadays is, they're willing to expose anything just for an attempt at it.
Right. Media is largely sensational, but it also depends on who's the target, because the media will protect certain people while it exposes others, and we know that, right? So I would say 60 to 70% of the time, you're going to see a lot of stories that fly by.
Are we addicted to controversy?
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely. Yes. Why do you think people love the Kardashians? Why do you think people love Jersey Shore?
Yeah. The bad guy, the
Right.
villains.
They love the villains. People love watching villains, right? That all these people are like absolutely abhorrent people.
But why is that? I don't know why that is.
I mean, they're just they don't have any consequences because people love them, and because people love them, people watch them. They're nobody special. What does Kim Kardashian provide for your life? Anything?
Nothing.
Nothing, right? So
Maybe some sort of like lust or jealousy, but that's not what I feed into. So it does nothing for me.
right. So if somebody tries to suppress a Kardashian story,
Yeah.
how do you
Oh my God, there's a paywall. I have to find out what Courtney is wearing. No, I'm
exactly
good. Yeah.
see? And that's why I say it depends on the person. If it's my president, I want to know.
You want to know if he's on that paywall?
I want to know what's beyond the paywall.
Oh,
I want to know what's ailing him. If he can't function as president, I think we should all know that.
how much transparency do you get in everyday life? And I'm talking about with your siblings, your significant other, your people at work. How much transparency do you get?
Dude,
Because I bet you it's not a lot.
right.
A
Yeah.
percentage wise, if you I'm talking about everybody, best friends, all that. 2025 transparency is at an all-time low. And I'm guessing.
Right. I get zero transparency from my siblings. Zero.
Yeah,
Nothing.
nothing. How much transparency? Because you don't know. You don't know.
Right.
It's not anything you can put a percentage on, but I'm guessing it's not a lot.
Well, and a lot of it is about
Control.
relationship,
It's yeah. You
right?
can
So
this is a whole different thing other than the Streisand effect. How much because how many people want to be vulnerable with you? Maybe you're not vulnerable with them. Sometimes you have to be vulnerable with somebody before they're vulnerable with you, right?
right.
Because how much social or political power do you want to give up to somebody?
Very true.
So, transparency. You don't know if you got it or not.
Right. But it's all
I
about
think you're a really good co-host, though.
man, I appreciate you.
Have we entered a world where trying to manage your reputation is almost impossible?
Man, I don't think it's impossible. It's you just can't have a digital footprint.
Everyone's gonna have one, though. I mean, if you're maybe not everyone's gonna have one. I take that back, but it's hard.
Right.
It's hard to avoid.
How active are you on Instagram?
Instagram, not at all.
How active are you on Facebook?
Not much.
How active are you on Twitter?
But nah. I look at stuff.
Right,
I don't
right.
post stuff.
You minimize your digital footprint, and it's going to be so much harder to pin you down on
Sure,
things.
but I mean, a picture of you was on Facebook this week.
This week,
Absolutely.
interesting. I haven't posted anything in years.
Yeah, but a certain bar you went to did.
Oh hell!
Booyah.
Oh, that reminds me. You posted up on Facebook this week.
Can you really control your own narrative anymore?
Ooh, that's a lot tougher because
You can try.
the narrative isn't necessarily set by you.
No. And I don't really think as we get further and further into digital and, you know, the media age, I don't think you will have much of a say in it. You do have a say in it.
Right, right. It's just tougher depending on who you are. If you're a nobody, you can't set the narrative at all. If you have any kind of influence at all, you might be able to defend yourself against certain narratives. But depending on depending on what side of the opinion you fall, could be detrimental to you.
Okay, so is the Streisand effect justice or chaos?
Ooh,
It's both.
wow. Yeah, I was gonna say I feel like it's a little bit of both. I feel like, yeah, some people should defend their right to privacy, and other times it might be a great telemarketing move or a great PR move.
The Streisand effect is a perfect storm of censorship, curiosity, and the speed of the internet. It's not just about what you try to hide, it's how you try to hide it.
That is very true.